I'm going to disagree a bit with the administration here, and I read this article and they convinced me. Widespread testing is probably a better idea at this point. Now, obviously given limited availability, if you're high risk or showing symptoms, law enforcement officers, our military folks, our heroic at this point, hospital and healthcare employees on the front line, you have my hat tip to all of you. God bless you. You got real guts, and we love you for it. But when testing becomes more available, and it will be, they are putting this, believe me when I tell you, this is a full, all government effort to get this going. This article in the Wall Street Journal makes some sense. She says, the author, it's dangerous to test only the sick. Random sampling is essential to learn the truth about the virus spread and the deadlines. What does she mean? This makes sense, folks. She's basically saying if we only say this just to prolong itself throughout the summer, I'll just read it from her because this makes sense. Testing only sick or symptomatic patients will not get us to the truth. To see why who we test matters, consider the flu. Its mortality rate is around 0.1%. Meaning that of everyone infected with the flu, tested or not, 1 in 1,000 die of it. If we only tested people who are hospitalized with flu-like symptoms, the mortality rate jumps 75-fold. Similarly, with the coronavirus, testing only sick and symptomatic people will result in an overestimate of mortality, which is going to heighten fear and anxiety and worsen their economic effects. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the author is right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
A lot of sense, doesn't it? Folks, and I know the administration is working on this. They are doing the best they can. But we have to be candid on the show. This is a solid, sensible approach. I bring this up because I was talking to my wife here before the show, and obviously we have Fox on in the background. And on Fox and Friends, they interviewed a woman who had recovered from corona. Ladies and gentlemen, she's fine. That is obviously not indicative of every case. Obviously, just like the flu. Some people it's bad, some people it's worse. Some people who get a flu shot, I got the flu. I had the flu shot. I had it for 2 days and I was done with it. So did my daughter. It was a mild case. It was still a case. The only cases we're hearing about now due to testing are the dramatic ones and the really bad ones, which may be giving people a false sense of the severity of the crisis, not the existence of it. It's clearly a crisis at this point, an economic one and a healthcare one. As I've said to you from the beginning, despite the liberal hacks who listen to my show, who will lie to you endlessly, we have never questioned the seriousness of this. It is serious, period. The question is, how serious? So we can gauge the risk in our personal lives. Again, the flu is deadly. But as I said to you when I opened the show, 2 weeks ago now? Why do half of Americans not get a flu shot? Because half of America, they're not dumb. They've taken into account the risk, and they don't think it's worth it. That's their call. Because they think the flu, given its very low mortality rate, and some of them are healthy, say, I'll take my chances. I don't feel like going to get it. That's their call, not mine. I get a flu shot. Paula didn't. We're not dumb. But we do that because we understand the risks of the flu. The author of this piece is making a good point. Nobody understands the risks of corona right now. All we're seeing is people dying and the really sick patients. We're not hearing enough. I think Fox did the nation a big service this morning by putting this lady on saying, listen, not everybody, it's not a death sentence for everybody who gets it. That way we can start to price our risks and see what we're going to do. Personally, we're all big boys and girls here. We can make our own decisions. But to do that, and I think the administration may be going down this road as these tests become more available, we're going to need some random sampling in communities as well. Because the only cases we're picking up right now are the people who are sick enough to go get tested, which is making the mortality rates and the science skewed. Smart idea.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.